Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are jumping right into it, focusing entirely on the NBA play-in tournament. It's pretty wild. Actually tips off today, April 15th, 2025.
It really is wild. It's become this fascinating pressure cooker right before the real playoffs start. You've got teams ranked 7th through 10th in each conference just, battling tooth and nail.
Yeah, for those last two playoff spots, it definitely dials up the intensity this time of year.
No doubt.
Okay, so let's just quickly run through how this works, right? Because it's not your standard playoff setup.
Not at all. Pretty unique structure.
Right. So you've got the 7th and 8th seeds in each conference. They play each other one game.
Okay.
Winner of that game, they're in. They become the number 7 seed for the actual playoffs. Done deal.
Simple enough for them. Get that win, you get some rest.
Exactly. But, and this is where it gets interesting, the loser of that 7 versus 8 game isn't out yet.
Ah, right. The second chance.
They get that second chance. They have to play the winner of the other play-in game, which is between the 9th and 10th seeds.
Okay, so 9 plays 10. Winner moves on. Loser goes home immediately.
Immediately. For 9 and 10, it's single elimination from the jump. Win or you're done.
Wow.
Then, the loser of 7 versus 8 plays the winner of 9 versus 10, and the winner of that game gets the final spot, the number 8 seed.
Gotcha. So yeah, that safety net for the 7-8 seeds having 2 chances. That's huge.
It is, but pure single elimination, high pressure for the 9 and 10 seeds right away.
That dynamic, yeah, it must change the strategy, the whole mindset going in. Zero room for error if you're 9 or 10.
And it all happens fast. The tournament starts today, Tuesday the 15th, runs through Friday the 18th.
And then boom, playoff starts Saturday.
Saturday the 19th. So yeah, this week, every single game just feels massive.
It's a sprint, a really high-stakes sprint to get into the main bracket.
So for our deep dive today, we are focusing specifically on the 2 games happening tonight, April 15th.
The opening night.
Yep. First up, in the East, you've got the hashtag Atlanta Hawks traveling to take on the hashtag 7 Orlando Magic. That's 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT.
Okay, Hawks Magic. Interesting matchup.
Then later tonight, out west, maybe the headline game? Hashtag 8 Memphis Grizzlies head to the Bay Area to face the hashtag 7 Golden State Warriors.
Ooh, yeah, that's a big one.
That's 10:00 p.m. Eastern, also on TNT.
2 really compelling games to kick things off. You can feel the buzz already.
Totally. So let's talk predictions. What's the early word? We saw Nick Roloff over at Chat Sports. He's predicting an Orlando Magic win over the Hawks.
Okay, so he sees the Magic locking up that hashtag 7 seed tonight.
Yeah, which, makes sense on paper, right? Slightly better record, home court advantage for Orlando.
Home court is definitely big in these one-off games. But I mean, play-in games, they could be kind of crazy, can't they? One guy gets hot, momentum swings.
Oh, absolutely. It's far from a sure thing. I think Orlando's consistency is a factor, but
Right.
Atlanta, with Trae Young, you just never know. He can explode.
He really can. He's the kind of player who can just win you a game by himself sometimes. So Magic can't relax at all.
Definitely not. Now, switching to the West, Warriors-Grizzlies. We saw one commentator saying they trust the Warriors a bit more in this spot than the Grizzlies.
Okay. Is that just the experience factor? The championship pedigree?
I think that's got to be a big part of it, yeah. The Warriors, they've just been in so many huge playoff games, they know how to handle this pressure cooker.
That collective experience, you can't really quantify it, but it matters. It really does. Especially in tight moments down the stretch. Memphis is talented, obviously, but maybe just doesn't have that same level of deep run experience together.
Although Memphis brings that youth and athleticism, which can cause problems.
For sure. That's great contrast in styles, potentially.
We even heard from Draymond Green. He acknowledged, how big this game is for them against Memphis. But classic Draymond sounded super confident they can handle it.
Yeah, you'd expect nothing less from him. His leadership, his voice, that's massive for Golden State.
Right.
And that confidence, it probably filters through the whole team.
Especially playing at home. That crowd is going to be intense. It'll feel like a playoff game already.
Oh, it absolutely will. Steve Kerr even said a recent game felt like it had a playoff atmosphere, so they seem ready for this level of intensity.
And just to round out the picture, we should mention the games tomorrow, Wednesday.
Right, the 9-10 matchups.
In the East, it's Chicago versus Miami. Out West, Sacramento takes on Dallas. Those games decide who plays Friday for the hashtag 8 seeds.
So those are elimination games right there. Winners move on, losers are done for the year. Sets up those final play-in games on Friday.
Exactly. So, okay, that brings us to our mission today. We really want to get into these 2 games tonight. Hawks at Magic, Grizzlies at Warriors.
Yeah, let's break them down.
We'll dig into like potential game plans, what schemes might we see, and really try to understand what these games mean for these teams, beyond just getting the win tonight.
Exactly. Go beyond just saying who might win, but look at the how and the why.
Mm.
The strategic chess match. What little things might make the difference?
All right, let's start in the East. #8 Hawks at #7 Magic. Orlando finished 41-41, got that 7th seed. Atlanta just one game back, 40-42 for the 8th spot, so super close.
Really tight. And that one-game difference gets Orlando the home court, which, like we said, in a one-game playoff, that could be everything.
Huge. So game schemes. Let's think about Orlando first. Higher seed, at home, they'll want to lean on their strengths, right? What worked for them this season?
Yeah, I think so. And for Orlando, that really seems to be their defense. They've built an identity around being tough, physical, using their length and athleticism on the wing.
Right. They have some good rim protection, too.
Definitely. So I'd expect them to try and, muck it up a bit, slow the pace, make it a grind for Atlanta's offense.
Make Trae Young work for everything.
Exactly. Offensively, maybe look to their young guys, Pella Banchero, Franz Wagner, try to get mismatches, attack and isolation maybe.
Yeah, make Atlanta's defenders work. Now, flip side, Atlanta. They're the road team, the slight underdog. How do they approach this? Do they try and exploit something in Orlando's game?
Well, job one is figuring out how to score consistently against that Magic defense on the road. And that starts and pretty much ends with Trae Young, doesn't it?
It really does. His playmaking, his scoring, he has to be brilliant.
Absolutely. Maybe they try to push the pace, get out in transition before Orlando's D gets set, try and speed them up, maybe force some turnovers.
Could work. Try and rattle the younger Magic team at home in a big spot.
It's possible. Get Trae to the free throw line, put pressure on their defenders, maybe get someone in foul trouble. That could open things up.
Good point. And the stakes here, let's just reiterate. Winner gets the #7 seed in the East. Avoids that extra game. That's a big prize.
Huge prize. Guarantees the playoff spot, locks in your first-round opponent. You get a few days rest while the other teams are still battling.
But the loser, importantly, their season's not over.
Right. Still alive.
They get that second chance. They'll face whoever wins tomorrow's Bulls Heat game. That game will be for the #8 seed. Still a path, just harder.
Much harder. You got to pick yourself up after a tough loss, maybe travel, play another do-or-die game against a team riding the high of a win. That's a tough turnaround.
Mentally and physically. So yeah, this first game means a lot. And again, Hawks at Magic, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tonight on TNT.
Definitely one to watch. Curious to see which style wins out.
All right, let's head west. #8 Memphis Grizzlies at #7 Golden State Warriors. This one just feels like it could be an instant classic.
It really does. I mean, look at the records. Both teams finished 48-34. Identical.
Just incredible. Shows how tight the West was. Warriors got the tiebreaker, so they get the home court at Shea Center.
And again, home court for the Warriors. That place gets loud. That's a significant advantage in a game like this.
No doubt. So let's talk game plans here. Starting with Golden State at home, how do they leverage that building the experience? Steph, Draymond.
Well, you got to think it starts with Steph Curry, right? We saw him put up, was it 52 points against Memphis earlier this season?
In Memphis, yeah, just an explosion.
So he's capable of just taking over this game. And the Warriors won the season series 2-1, so they've had recent success against them.
Oh.
Defensively, it's got to be Draymond Green orchestrating things. His IQ, his communication, trying to slow down John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Kerr. Said they're playoff ready mentally. They want to control the tempo, use their execution.
That 52-point game has to be looming large for Memphis's defense. How do you stop that?
You probably don't stop it. You just try to make it as difficult as possible.
That's it.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question for Memphis.
So for Memphis then, on the road against this Warriors machine, what's their path to victory? How do they pull off the upset? It's got to be Ja and JJJ leading the way.
Absolutely. They need huge games from their stars. Memphis probably wants to use their athleticism, push the pace, get easy buckets in transition if they can. Ja attacking the rim relentlessly, that's their bread and butter.
Can you put enough pressure on the Warriors' interior defense?
That's the key. And defensively for Memphis, trying to slow down Steph. That's tough for anyone. But I saw rookie Jalen Wells, who they used on him sometimes. He's out injured.
Yeah, that's a blow. Doesn't make that job any easier.
Not at all. And didn't Memphis just lose a couple tough ones at home? And they hit that coaching change recently, too.
Yeah, that's right. Lost a back-to-back at home, and the coaching situation adds, well, uncertainty, right? How does that impact them in this moment?
It's a lot to deal with right before a massive game like this, especially against a team as experienced and stable as the Warriors. How they handle that adversity will be really telling.
For sure. And the stakes, just like in the East. Winner grabs the hashtag 7th seed in the West. Playoff spot secured.
That's the goal. Avoid that extra do-or-die game on Friday. Get into the main bracket.
And the loser. They live to fight another day, but they'll have to play the winner of tomorrow's Kings-Mavericks game for that final hashtag 8 seed.
Again, much tougher road, recover from the loss, then face another elimination game against a hot team.
Grueling stuff. Grizzlies-Warriors tonight, 10.00 DO Eastern TNT. Gonna be worth staying up for, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Star power, high stakes, contrasting styles should be fantastic basketball.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second. Look at the play-in tournament overall. There are some interesting historical trends since they started this format back in 2021.
Yeah, I saw some of that. The big one seems to be the 7th seed, right?
Exactly. Every single year since 2021, in both conferences, the team that started as the hashtag 7 seed has made it out of the play-in and into the playoffs.
Now, every single time. That's a strong trend.
It really is. So history suggests that favors Orlando and Golden State tonight. What do you think that is?
Good question. Maybe it's just that the gap between 6 and 7 isn't usually that big. They're still solid playoff-level teams. Or maybe having that second chance just lets them play a little looser in the first game.
Could be. On the flip side, though, the 10th seed has never made it out.
Never. Okay, so that shows how tough it is for those bottom teams. Miami or Dallas, if they win tomorrow, they still face a huge uphill battle on Friday.
A really steep hill to climb. Win 2 straight elimination games, likely on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, the odds are tough.
Statistically stacked against them.
And speaking of stats, we saw some data from FTN. Their model suggested that basically, besides the Warriors, expectations for other play-in teams in the actual playoffs should be pretty low.
Really? What did it say?
Said no other play-in team besides Golden State had better than like a 5% chance of even reaching the second round.
Wow, 5%. Okay, so that kind of suggests maybe the play-in shakes up who gets in, but maybe not who goes deep. The top seeds are still the top seeds once the real playoffs start.
Seems like that's what the data implies. Maybe the play-in is more about adding excitement and access for this week rather than fundamentally changing the championship picture.
Interesting perspective. Although the Warriors being the exception there is notable, their ceiling is always high.
Right. And, this whole format isn't loved by everyone. We saw David Griffin from the Pelicans argue that maybe only the 8th seed should be in a play-in.
Oh, yeah. What was his reasoning?
Basically, the 7th seed usually earns their spot over 82 games and shouldn't have to risk it in 1 or 2 extra games. Kind of a fairness argument.
I could see that point of view. It does feel like maybe it diminishes the achievement of finishing 7th just a little bit. But then again, the league clearly loves the drama it creates, right?
Oh, for sure. It keeps more teams playing hard later in the season, more fan engagement. It's that classic balance. Fairness versus entertainment.
Exactly. And right now, entertainment and engagement seem to be winning out. But it's a valid debate. Does it maybe unfairly punish a solid 7th seed?
Yeah, different perspectives on it. Some love the excitement, others worry about the fairness to the higher seeds.
It's complex.
Yeah.
And we'll probably keep debating it as long as the format exists.
Well, the debate pauses tonight because the games begin. 2 huge ones on TNT. It'll be fascinating to see if those historical trends hold up.
Absolutely. Tonight gives us the first real taste of postseason intensity. We'll see who's ready.
So, final thought for everyone listening as you get ready to watch tonight. We know the history favors the 7th seeds. The predictions lean towards Orlando and Golden State. Are they basically locks tonight? Or is there real potential for the Hawks or the Grizzlies to pull off these upsets and completely scramble the playoff picture in both conferences?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
And maybe drilling down further, what specific matchups inside these games do you think will be the absolute key? Like who guarding who? Or what tactical adjustment could swing it? What should people really watch for?
Great questions. While history and predictions are useful, you just never know in a one-game scenario. I'd watch the star matchups. Obviously, Tracy versus the Magic D, Steph versus the Grizzlies D, Ja attacking the Warriors. But also, look at coaching adjustments. How do teams respond if their initial plan isn't working? And honestly, who handles the pressure better? Which team executes down the stretch when every possession feels massive? That's usually what decides these things.
Yeah, composure under pressure, definitely. Well, we encourage everyone to dig into the stats, look back at the season matchups, check out more analysis, and form your own opinions. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.